All right, all right. It's one of those special days, chat. It's one of those special days where we're doing two a days. Two a days. These days are kind of rare, but I figured, you know what? Why not? Why not? Also, very special shout out. Very, very special shout out to somebody that we all know and love here on the channels, to somebody that we all know and love and appreciate here on the channel, named the one and the only Darcy. Why are we doing a special shout out for Darcy today? Well, you see this beautiful piece of equipment right here? You see this beautiful piece of equipment right here? All right? You see that? That's the reason we're giving a very special shout out to Darcy today. Now, I'm still messing around with this thing, trying to figure out the ins and outs of it. But basically, Darcy gifted this to me off of my Amazon wish list. This is a not cheap microphone. It's called a Blue Yeti. I'm sure if anybody is technology savvy out there, you know what that is. These are very nice microphones. So that's why we're giving a very special shout out to Darcy. So, I don't know if you can hear really the difference. I tested it myself before I jumped on stream, and there is a very, very big difference between using the built-in microphone, this little guy up here that comes with my my headset, and using this standalone mic. There is a very big difference. So I don't know if it's obvious to you right away, but if you go back and watch some of my other streams, you should be able to hear the difference. It's quite the difference. So special shout out to Darcy, who has always supported this channel, who has always helped me out and shown me nothing but love from Darcy. Honestly, my biggest supporter. So we should be very thankful and grateful for Darcy, who has done so much for this channel. So I figured we'd do a second stream for the day. Have a reason to kind of test out this new microphone. And like I said, I'm still kind of messing with it. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. You might notice me turning it up, turning it down, trying to find that sweet spot. But just wanted to give a very special shout out to Darcy. Thank you so much. Who we got in chat? Maddie Mint, Zoe, Mike, Barbara. What's up, guys? Expressing. What's up? Let's see. Lucy, what's up? What is up? Yeah, like I said, man, I'm still messing with it. I'm still trying to find the sweet spot, so to speak. There's a lot of settings that I kind of need to tweak and work on, but for the most part, from the small tests that I did before the stream, it's definitely much clearer. And since the main point of this channel is we come on here and we try to make points and we try to give lectures, I feel like the audio is a very important part of that. So, yay, Darcy! Absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna tweak that a little bit. We're gonna work on that a little bit. Try to find that sweet spot. I'm gonna turn it down now. Let me know if that's too low. Gonna turn it down. It might have been too high. Hey man, love your stuff. Saved my life. Thank you, Z. Great day to end the workday with a live video. Thank you, Wonder Bro. What's up, Lucy? Good to have you. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna turn the mic down now, and hopefully that might sound even better, not as loud. But yeah, we're gonna have to work with it a little bit and try to find some sweet spots. We're gonna have to go into the settings and try to make sure that we get it just right. It's super cool. It is, and it sounds a lot better from what I can tell. So what are we gonna be talking about today, chat? What are we gonna be talking about today? We are gonna be talking about the worst. The worst has already happened, and that's another thing about this mic. I gotta find the sweet spot on where to put it towards my mouth. We got it on this fancy arm here, but I gotta find the sweet spot for that too. So just work with me, chat. Work with me. We are gonna be talking about today. The worst has already happened. The worst has already happened. Now we're not much, right? We're not much for giving reassurance around here. We don't really like the word reassurance. But if you want to classify this stream as something, I guess you could chuck it in the reassurance stream. Ugh, nasty word. Don't like that word. But I do want to point something out, right? And that's what this stream's all about. I do want to point something out, something that's very crucial for you to realize, something that's very crucial for you to think about as you work on building that accepting attitude. The sound is much better now if you keep the input volume low like that and then raise the output level. So leave it about right here on that. Okay, got you. Yeah, I will work on that and tweak that a little bit. It doesn't give me a whole lot of settings as far as OBS goes, but I'll work on that and try to get that to the perfect level. I'll work on that and try to get that to the perfect level. So that is what we're talking about today, guys. The worst has already happened. The worst has already happened, and it's about, what time is it for me? Almost 5 p.m. Almost 5 p.m. So these streams tend to fill up pretty quickly. I don't think we really need to wait around much longer than that. I think we can go ahead and jump into it. So, but before we do, one last special thank you to Darcy. Honestly, the biggest supporter, the biggest supporter here on the channel, has done so much for me and has done so much for this stream. So, one last special little shout out to Darcy. As soon as I got your package today, I unboxed it, I set it up, we're ready to go. So let's jump into the point of today's stream. The worst has already happened. Take a few deep breaths before we go. All right. The worst has already happened. Now, one of the main driving factors when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to panic, all right, when it comes to people denying their feelings and their thoughts, when it comes to people being unwilling to accept their thoughts and feelings, their feelings and their thoughts, when it comes to people pushing away and fighting against their anxiety, their thoughts and feelings, their feelings and thoughts, is because they think that if they step into this territory, which I know this territory can be fairly new to you if you've never went this route before, if you're used to fighting, right? They think if they step into this new territory, something god-awful, something just god-awful and tragic is going to happen to them if they do so. And a lot of times when we see people fighting against their anxiety, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want these feelings to grow. I don't want these thoughts to stay, right? A lot of times when people have this attitude, they have this attitude mostly for one reason. I'm not saying there's, you know, not multiple reasons, but it mostly boils down to one thing, is that they think, or they are under the false illusion that something god-awful and horrible is going to happen to them if they do accept these thoughts and feelings, right? But I'm here to tell you, if you've dealt with sensitized nerves, if you've dealt with panic especially, if you've ever had just a panic attack in your life, I'm here to tell you, you have hit the max level of what fear can do to you. If you have had a panic attack in your life, right? If you've dealt with sensitized or tired nerves, you have hit the absolute max level of what fear can possibly do to you. You have felt all of the physical symptoms, right? You have felt the peak of fear. You have felt what fear can do. There's nothing else waiting around the corner for you. If you've ever dealt with being sensitized, having tired nerves, if you've ever dealt with a panic attack in your life, you have felt the worst that fear can possibly do to you. Now, we're under the illusion that that's not true, because each time we start to feel some fear, each time we start to feel some anxiety, right? Each time we start to feel some panic, we are under the illusion that this might be the time that gets me. And why are you under that illusion? You're under that illusion because each time these thoughts and feelings come around, you do something about them, right? You do something about them that you think is helping. We call this fighting. You use your coping methods, you avoid, you run away from, whatever it is that you do that you think is actually making a difference, when really, at the end of the day, it's all this illusion that you're doing something that's helping, really. That's what a coping method is. But each time these thoughts and feelings come around, roll around, you do something that you think is actually helping. So in your mind, you have told yourself, well, I've avoided disaster. In your mind, you have told yourself, well, I have avoided certain tragedy, right? And that's why each time these thoughts and feelings roll around, you are under the false belief that you just barely escaped last time, that you just barely got by last time. So it's a continuous cycle. Each time these thoughts and feelings come around, the more you fight them, of course, the more you stress the nerves out, but the more you also fall under the false illusion that you just barely escape disaster, right? So even though you have already felt the worst that fear can do to you, you're still living under the false illusion that some sort of disaster is lurking around the corner. And the reason that you're living under that false illusion that some sort of tragedy or disaster is lurking around the corner is because each time you fight, right? So that each time it rolls around, you say, well, I barely escaped this last time, I better do it again. I barely escaped certain death last time, I better do this again. I barely escaped tragedy last time, I better make sure I escape it again. So even though you've already hit the maximum level of what fear can do to you, even though you've already felt these symptoms a million times before, even though you've already dealt with certain thoughts like this before, even though you've already felt what fear can do to you, you are under the illusion that there's something more. And you're under that illusion because you've convinced yourself that you're barely escaping each time. Really, you're hitting the maximum each time. You've already felt the worst that fear can do. You're under the illusion, though, that you're just barely escaping. And you're under that illusion because each time fear rolls around, anxiety rolls around, you do something about it. You use a coping method or you barely escape or whatever. So it's really ironic in that way. You've already felt the worst that fear can do to you, right? But at the same time, you're under the false illusion that you haven't. You've already felt the worst that anxiety and panic can do to you, but you're under the false illusion that you haven't, that you've just been barely hanging on, that you've just been barely scraping by each time, that you've just barely managed to survive each time, right? So completely under the false illusion that there's something more lurking around the corner, when really you felt the worst and you're just giving yourself, you are just giving yourself this illusion by escaping each time. And what is escaping? You're not really escaping anything. You're not really escaping anything. You've convinced yourself that you're escaping something by using these coping methods and by fighting with this anxiety and panic and by fighting with these thoughts. You've convinced yourself that you're escaping certain tragedy, right? When in reality, you're just continuing to keep yourself in a stressed out cycle. When in reality, you're just keeping your nerves beat up. You're not actually escaping anything. You're just keeping yourself miserable. But again, I know I've already said it so many times, but you're under this false illusion that there's something that you're barely getting out of the way of each time. I'm just barely managing to escape, right? So it's very, very ironic in that way. You have felt the worst that fear can do, and it's in the multiple ways that you've felt it. You have felt the worst that fear can do to you, yet you have convinced yourself that you're just barely getting by. You have convinced yourself that you're somehow avoiding something. You're avoiding some certain death or tragedy. You have convinced yourself of this when in reality you've already felt the worst that fear can do. Isn't that ironic, right? Isn't that a ridiculous cycle? So each time anxiety and panic rolls around, you tell yourself that you need to do something about it in order to avoid this certain death or tragedy, when in reality you've already felt the worst. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's a cycle that you keep yourself in. You're convinced, and you have convinced yourself that you're just barely escaping some sort of huge disaster, when in reality, it's that mindset that's just keeping your nerves tired, when in reality, you've already felt the worst, when in reality, you're just running from a ghost, right? So it's very ironic in that way. Also, I noticed this in chat, and I just want to throw this out there real quick. I don't know where these spam bots are coming from, dude, but they're getting increasingly worse, and I do ask that all my mods try to throw those comments out. Anyway, you are living under a false illusion that something worse is waiting around the corner, when actually this illusion that you're living under, this mindset that you're living under, is doing nothing but just keeping your nerves tired and keeping you in a stressed out cycle, when there's really nothing to avoid, when you've already felt the worst and you've already been there. So when we first started this stream, we said that we don't like the word reassurance because it's a very nasty word. We want people to lose the fear of fear, right? By facing their anxiety and panic with an accepting mindset. We've been calling it building the accepting attitude. We want people to use the two main keys: the accepting attitude, not fighting with the thoughts and feelings, but keeping that correct accepting attitude and living your life, the two ways that the brain learns. Okay? We want people to do that. And Arnold, if you accidentally get banned, it's not my fault, dude. I'm not unbanning you. We want people to do that, right? We want people to do that. But at the same time, we hate the word reassurance. However, I thought I thought this was important today. I thought this was important today, even though it sounds like a bit of reassurance. I thought it was important because if it convinces you to start to try to use this accepting mindset, if it convinces you to start to work on the accepting attitude, if it convinces you to at least take what I know feels like a leap of faith, right? I know it feels like a leap of faith, but if it convinces you to take that quote-unquote leap of faith, then I say go for it, right? I will let you know right here, right now, that you have felt the worst that fear can do to you, right? That you have felt the worst that fear can do to you. You are under this false illusion that there's something waiting around the corner for you, which is simply not true, right? You have convinced yourself, and you are under a false illusion that there is something worse waiting around the corner for you, when really it's just it's just a cycle. It's a self-produced cycle. There's nothing waiting around the corner for you. There's nothing worse coming for you, right? And now that's not to say that there's not different varying degrees of anxiety. I'm either very anxious, I'm not that anxious, somewhere in the middle, or panic, or whatever. But when you've dealt with anxiety and panic for this long, I'm telling you, there's not a monster waiting around the corner for you. There's no secrets lurking in the dark, right? There is no secrets lurking in the dark. So although that might sound like a bit of reassurance, and I guess you can call it that, I'll give you that pass today. I'm just letting you know, straight up, that you have nothing to lose with practicing this accepting attitude, embracing these thoughts and feelings, right? That's one of our two main keys, and living your life. You have nothing to lose because there's nothing waiting in the dark for you. You have felt the worst physically that fear can make you feel, right? And again, some people might debate that and say, yeah, but Wonder Bro, I felt worse sometimes than others. That's true. There's different varying degrees to this stuff. But I'm telling you, if you've ever dealt with a panic attack in your life, if you've ever dealt with recovery in your life, if you've ever dealt with tired nerves in your life, there's nothing big, bad, and totally shocking that's waiting around the corner. You have felt it, right? It might be worse sometimes than others, but you have felt it. Believe me, you have felt it. So if that helps you to want to dedicate to these two keys, live your life and work on that accepting attitude, right, instead of adding that worry, if knowing that, right, helps you to drop all of this, oh God, something's waiting around the corner, I can't dedicate to this because something's lurking in the dark for me, right? If that helps you drop that BS to hear that, well then congratulations, because that's the truth. I'm telling you, I don't care who you are in the chat. If you've dealt with high levels of anxiety, panic, or sensitization in your life, there's nothing worse waiting for you in the dark. You felt it, right? You felt it. So understand that you can wait around for a very long time. You can wait around for a very long time to get started on this because you're afraid that something's going to pop out around the corner and grab you and suck you in and just be, you're just a goner, right? And just eat you and destroy you. If that's the reason you're not dedicating to the two main keys, I'm going to tell you, you're going to spend a very long time waiting for this big bad monster to pop around the corner and get you, and the worst that's ever going to happen to you is you might have some panic. The worst that's ever going to happen to you is the shit that you've already felt. The worst that's ever going to happen to you is your anxiety in different varying degrees, right? You've been there, you've done that, and there's no secrets waiting for you. So if that helps you, if hearing that helps you, that bit of truth there, if hearing that helps you dedicate to these two main keys, next time you're like, oh God, I don't know if I want to embrace these thoughts and feelings. Oh God, I don't. If you're psyching yourself out like that, remember what I told you today. There's nothing waiting in the darkness. You've been there. You've done that. All has already been explored, right? It's time to dedicate. Okay, you guys? So that was the point of today's stream, and I truly, truly hope you enjoyed it. I did not, I'll be honest, I had no plans on doing a second stream today, but Darcy did send this amazing gift. Now that you guys have heard a full stream with this new microphone, let me know, how did it sound? Is it better? Was this an improvement? I think it definitely was an improvement. So no plans on streaming again today, but like I said, Darcy sent me this amazing gift. I wanted to have an excuse to try it, and then I was brainstorming ideas for this stream, and this one came to mind, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty solid. So here we are. But I hope you enjoyed today's stream. If you did, make sure you leave a like. All the likes really do help the channel grow. We can't grow this channel without your help. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. We cannot grow this channel without you. Right? So I know it feels kind of minor and like it doesn't make a significant difference, but when you do take those 2 seconds to throw a thumbs up to the streams, you are essentially helping other people that need this advice get it, right? So it does a lot more than you think it does at the end of the day. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We got a $5 tip from Abraham that said, I know you're a mid-rant wonder bro. Carry on. Thank you so much, Abraham. I really do appreciate it. I like it more clear. Thank you. Thank you. We're still working out the little kinks and stuff, Kate. I don't know if it's on my end or your end, or we're still working on it. Like, there's a couple different modes that this thing has got. This is like alien technology to me. All right, so you have to forgive me. We gonna get it. We gonna figure it out. We gonna figure it out as we move along. But I think it's much more clear. And really, if you think about it, that's the most important part of this channel. We've got to have good audio. If we don't have good audio, um, it can be a struggle. So I think improving the audio is the most important thing we can do for this channel. So again, huge shout out to Darcy for this. Huge shout out to Darcy. I would have never been able to afford or buy something like this for myself, especially this close to Christmas. So huge shout out to Darcy. Sounds really good. I appreciate that, David. Shout out again to you, Abraham. Thank you for the $5 tip, buddy. I really appreciate it. That was an amazing stream. This is so important. Thank you so much for that, Mint. I like it more clear. Yeah, I just want to I just kind of wanted to stomp out this delusion that people have that there's something more waiting for them in the darkness. Of course, your anxiety can come in varying degrees. Of course, you can be worse off one day than another. Of course, I'm not disputing that. But there's no big monster that's waiting around the corner. You've felt it, right? Waiting for my steak. Yummers. Hey, share some of that steak. I love steak. Badass stream. I appreciate that, Lucy. I appreciate that. 100 Mint. Appreciate that. Challenge people to do something while listening to your stream, if anything. Don't even talk about it. Talk about something completely irrelevant, just a thought. Maybe I'm having a brain fart, but I'm not really following you on that. I might just be having a brain fart. I didn't sleep a whole lot last night. Maybe I'm lacking right now. Sounds like I'm on a call with you. Yeah, perfect. That's what we want. Solid rant, Wonder Bro. Well done. Thank you, Abraham. I appreciate it, dude. Who was it earlier? I think it was Arnold who copied and pasted what the spam bots have been posting in the chat. I didn't mean to come off as rude when I said if you get banned, I'm not unbanning you. But please do not copy and paste what the spam bots say in the chat, because if one of my mods does ban you because they think you're a bot, right? Because we've been having that problem recently. If one of my mods do end up banning you because you copied and pasted what the bot said, it's super inconvenient. So just I get you. I get you're trying to make a joke, but I don't want you to get banned. All right, I love you. I care about you. I don't want you to get banned. All right. Hey, Wonder Bro, did you experience some deja vu during your recovery? They are weird to explain. Deja vu is kind of a good way to put it, but it's not quite deja vu, but it is. It's kind of like a weird. Who else has, during my recovery, I used to feel this strange nostalgia feeling. Who else has felt that? It's kind of like deja vu mixed with nostalgia, and it kind of just hits you really heavy for a second. And it's like your life is just, I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's hard for me to explain. But if that's what you're trying to explain, yes, I have felt that. But yeah, again, I just don't want any of you to get banned. So I know it's a funny joke, but I just don't want any of you to accidentally get banned by a mod. What's up, old mate? How you doing, dude? How's it doing? How's it going? Or I guess you could say how's it doing? How's it going, bro? Let's. By the way, I do have to set the new mic up on the post stream, so give me just a second. Hello. Ooh, that's way too loud. Oh my god. Okay, let me adjust that for a second. Yeah, I have to set the new mic up individually on each screen. It doesn't just carry over. So there's that. There's that. Okay, let's do a comparison. So here's a comparison since we're on post stream. This is what my mic used to sound like. Now I just switched back. I just switched back to my old headset, and I know that the other mic was very loud there for a second. I had to adjust it. You have to do it on each screen individually. But I just switched back to my old headset. So there's your comparison. That whole stream was done with the new mic, and now you're hearing the old mic. What's the difference? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? This is the old mic. This is the old mic. Can you hear the difference? You think it's a big improvement or no? It's hard for you to realize just how big of an improvement that was until you hear it like this, isn't it? Isn't it? It's hard to now you hear the difference. Now I bet you hear the difference. Man, you guys are hating on the old mic. Somebody said don't like the old mic. Harder to hear now. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's awful. Big difference. Now you guys hear the difference, all right? Now you hear the difference. Now you hear the difference. So yeah, you guys have Darcy to thank for that. You have Darcy to thank for that wonderful gift. And here in just a second, I'll switch back to the new mic, and then you can, yeah, you can then hear for yourself how thankful we should be for Darcy. I used to have to turn my PC volume way up to hear you, but not now. See, that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem, and I'm glad it's been addressed because I feel like audio is very important for streams where people are trying to learn something, right? Maybe if I was acting a fool on camera and that was my whole gimmick, then it wouldn't matter as much. But when this is all about trying to learn something, audio is extremely important. So, huge shout out to Darcy for that. Does it sound is it on my end or can you guys agree with Kate's comment? Is it fuzzy to anybody else or is it just on Kate's end? Maybe turn me down a little bit. Maybe the new mic is so much louder that if you have me turned up too far it starts to get a bit weird. Or is everybody experiencing that? Burn that headset, Wonder Bro. No, I can't burn the headset. The headset I still get my audio out of. This is an expensive headset. I need my headset just to hear things. It's great for that. It's great for hearing things. Not so great for using the built-in microphone. Okay, so it's not just on Kate's end. A little fuzzy, so we need to tweak that a little bit. We need to tweak that a little bit. We are going. I need you guys to stay with me. I know this might be a bit boring, but I need you to stay with me as I work on this because I want to get this new mic. I want to get it to its peak performance here. So I need you guys. I need you. I need your help. I need your help. So we're gonna switch back to the new mic in just a second and work on that. You are the spoon. You are the spoon. I feel like this might break off in a religious debate in just a second. I'm not saying it's going to, but I will forewarn you if it does break off into a religious debate, which is something we do not debate here on this channel, because to each their own, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, whether you think it's right or wrong. If it does break off into a religious debate, just try to refrain from that because it's a good way to get muted. Um, okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me switch over to the new mic. Okay, here we go. That's loud. I'm going to turn that down. Okay, I'm going to turn that down and we're going to see if that helps with the fuzziness. We're going to see if that helps with the fuzziness. move my mouth further away so not as close. What about now? What about now? How does that sound, chat? How does that sound, chat? Does that sound okay? Hello? Hello? Is the volume good? Is everything, are we still fuzzy? What's that sound like? Much better. No fuzz. Much better. Much better. Sounds better. Okay, so all I did was turn the volume down. Volume too low. Okay, I'm going to increase it just a little bit. I'm going to increase it. We're just going to do this little by little. There's a little bit of lag in the chat, but we're going to do this little by little. So I turned it up. I turned it up a little bit. Turned it up just a little bit. What's that like? What's that like? Testing, testing. We are officially turned up a bit louder. Testing. What's that like, chat? Hello, hello. Testing. Testing, testing. I don't know what clipping means. Sounds perfect, great, better, perfect for me, better. Okay, okay. I don't have two volume controls. I just have the volume on OBS, and I've just got a volume wheel on the actual mic, but the thing is, the volume wheel just spins endlessly. There's no, I don't understand. I can just turn it either way, and it just goes endlessly. So I don't get that at all. I don't get that at all. Yeah, I do not comprehend why there's a volume scroll wheel on the actual hardware itself when the scroll wheel doesn't have a stopping point. I can just turn it endlessly and it never stops. So, not understanding what that's about. Not understanding really what that's about. My eardrum is satisfied. Bop, bop, bop. So maybe, well, what's it sound like currently? Because I haven't messed with it since I turned it up. So is right now good, or should I turn it down just a hair? Or should I stop fucking with it? Is right now good, or should I turn it down just a hair? Let me know. Let me know, chat. I mean, there's filters that you can add to it, but I don't want to mess with that because I feel like that's going to screw it up. Don't fuck with it. Perfect. All right. Perfect. Don't fuck with it. Perfect. All right. We're just going to leave it here. Then. For now, at least. Maybe I'll watch like a YouTube tutorial later. Try to perfect it. But everybody's saying perfect. Don't fuck with it anymore. So we're just going to leave it alone. We're going to switch back over to the main chat, though. Because now we need to do the same thing over here. Right there. Does that sound good still? Yeah, see, I'm not really sure, Mint. I'm not really sure because the scroll wheel that I've got on the front of this bad boy, it says volume, but you can just turn it endlessly in either direction. So I don't know how far, you know, it just fucking, there's no stopping point. You can just turn it forever and ever. Oh my God. Sam. Holy shit. Had that on 100. Sam, thank you so much for the $10 tip. Says, I wish I had more to donate, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for all that you do. And Merry Christmas, Sam. Thank you so much for the $10 tip. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Huge shout out to Sam in the chat, please. And a huge shout out to Abraham as well. Thank you so much, guys. Sounds exactly same as post stream now. Okay, I tried to get the slider in the same in the same spot. To be honest, Mint, I thought I was tech swabby, but I'm getting old, and I think you know more than I do. I thought I knew a lot about electronics and microphones and all this and that, which I think I still do. But I'm getting old, and I'm starting to fall in the same category as Maddie as far as knowing about electronics goes. So you're using big words for me. But to be honest, I know a lot about PCs and building PCs, but as far as like microphones and stuff and sound, and it's not something I've ever really messed with. So Abraham says, I still turn you up, but I don't. You are plenty loud, unlike before. So before you could turn me all the way up, and you still couldn't really hear me. So now just turn me up. Now just turn me up. If you're having trouble hearing me, turn me up, and it should be plenty loud for you, unlike before. So just turn me up a little bit, and you should be able to hear me just fine. That's so mean. It's not mean. It's not mean, okay? I'll tell you why it's not mean. Maddie agrees with me. Maddie completely agrees with me. See, I mean, she even said, see, how's it feel? She even said, how's it feel? She agrees with me. Yeah, to make it simple, Mint, it's just one slider. That's all I've got. I've got one slider, and that's the volume. Whatever this twisty wheel is on here, I don't know. It goes both ways forever, so I'm not going to touch it anymore. But you can just turn that bad boy forever, and I don't understand that. I figured if you had like a scroll wheel for volume, eventually it'd stop, and that lets you know that you hit max. Apparently that's not a thing these days, so don't know what the hell that means. But everybody's saying super clean, super clear, perfect, stop fucking with it. So we're just going to stop fucking with it. Turn me up and you should be able to hear me crystal clear now. So awesome. Yeah, I switched back to the old mic for a second, and you guys were like, "Oh my god!" Now, oof, that's bad. That's bad. When you compare them side by side, you start to realize, oh, this is a big improvement. This is a big improvement. Why so many spam bots all of a sudden? I don't know, dude. It's getting out of control. At first, it was like 2 spam comments a stream, and now it's like at least 10, 15 a stream. I don't understand. I don't know if it's just on my channel or if it's an ongoing problem, but it's getting weird, man. It's getting really weird. And I don't understand it. Ha ha ha. Sorry. You gave me a little bit of a jump scare there, Sam. It's okay. It's okay. I needed that to wake up a little bit. I needed that to wake up a little bit. I love how you refer to your brain as that, old mate. It never gets old. It's quite disgusting, but I love it. Are they bots? I'm assuming they're just bots. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to this later. I'm definitely, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna give this a listen, and then I'm gonna go listen to some of my old streams and just compare the two. Like I said, before I went on stream, I listened to myself back in some recordings, comparing both mics, and I can definitely see the difference. It's night and day. It's really night and day. I was excited to get on here and stream to share that with you guys. Like I said, I feel like audio is the most important part of this channel. And I did figure out that I could use the new camera and get like really clear video. Like when I'm using the good camera, you can actually make out that this says live on this sign, right? And I'll be completely honest with you, because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'll be completely honest with you. The reason we haven't been using the new camera to do that is because I always forget to charge the battery, and then I'm too lazy to do so. So that's on me. That's on me. I'm not going to lie about it. But now that we've got the new microphone, I'm going to try to get into the habit of making sure that that bad boy stays charged. And because the two together, the new video, the new audio, It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. Now I've got no excuses. We've improved the audio. Now I need to get back on improving the video. I got no excuses here. All right, that's on me. That's my bad. My bad. I'm just being honest. Let's talk about how Dr. Weeks revolutionized anxiety recovery. Oh, absolutely. We've talked about that many times in the past. Dr. Claire Weeks was like a pirate back in her day, right? Nobody wanted to believe it at first, but it was absolutely amazing. Hope and help for your nerves. Absolutely amazing. Maddie. Isn't there a cable we can buy so you don't have to charge it? There is an adapter cable. Oh shit. Oh shit. FBK, dude, coming in with a $35 tip. Let me make sure. Yes, FBK coming in with the $35 tip says, your resistance message helped me a lot earlier. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you, dude. Thank you. That takes us to tip goal. We technically didn't need that because we've already moved on since this morning. But you know what? We're just going to count 2 days in one because that's how we roll around here. So we're moving on to a 64-day streak. So in the matter of 1 day, you've put us on a 2 extra days here. So thank you, chat, so much. I really appreciate that. Huge shout out in the chat to FBK, man. huge shout out. Yes, there is like I was saying, there is a cord that you can buy, like an adapter that you can buy that keeps the battery flowing with a constant charge. I need to look into that. Somebody posted the link to that in the Discord, I believe. I need to look into that. That's what I got out of that. My chair almost killed me. Damn, what's happening? Be careful, Arnold. Be careful. Don't fall out of your chair and break your neck on us here. Be careful, Arnold. We love you. We love you too much for that. Tighten the bolts up. Tighten the screws. Tighten those nuts up on the chair there. We don't want you to fall on the floor on us. Maddie poking the bear. That's Maddie's job. That is Maddie's job here on the channel. Maddie lives to poke me with a stick. Maddie lives and thrives to poke me with pointy sticks. That's what she does. New camera and mic. Wonder Bros ride has been pimped. Yeah, like I said, we need to get the camera back into action. We have no excuses now. We've got improved audio. We need to get the camera back into action. That way we can have both. I need to quit being lazy and charge my battery. You have to charge it after every stream, but until I get that cable, I need to get that cable people keep talking about. How do you know if you're accepting the right way? If you're continuing to live your life while feeling like crap, then you know you're accepting the right way. So if you're laying in bed all day, probably not accepting the right way. If you're not doing the things that you normally would be doing, probably not accepting the right way. And that's not to say you have to be perfect or that you have to jump into this headstrong and do everything that you think you should be doing. But as long as you're doing your best to live as normally, we just mean carry on living, and not trying to change so much for anxiety, not laying around all day, you know, whatever the case may be. If you're living life while having these anxious thoughts and feelings, and you're working on keeping the accepting attitude, which means telling yourself things like, you know what, I need this, I want this, instead of all the old second fear crap that you would tell yourself. If you're doing those two things, working on the accepting attitude, even if you don't necessarily believe it at first, and living your life, then you're on the right track. You're on the right track. That's how you know if you're using the two main keys. That's how you know. You don't have to be perfect at them as long as you're using them. You don't have to be perfect at them as long as you're giving them a shot. You don't have to be perfect at them as long as you're making a humble effort, right? And then we'll go from there. We'll build from there. I got really emotional in a bad way. It happens. You're probably expecting to hear more than that, right? Don't you mean that we need to, don't you think we should dive deeper into this? No. Don't you think we should investigate this a little bit more? No. Don't you think we should obsess about this? No. You got emotional. Okay, it happens. Let's get on with the day, right? We accept the way that we feel. We don't get it up into our heads about it. We don't overcomplicate it. Doesn't need to be complicated. Why does it need to be complicated? It doesn't need to be complicated. We accept it, right? So you're probably expecting more than that, but why? Why does there need to be more than that? Why can't we just say, okay, you got emotional. All right. So what? Right? Why do we have to get in our heads and dissect this? Why do we have to get in our heads and pick this apart till every last little shred, right? Why do we have to do that? That's what you've been doing so long with your anxiety. How well has that been working out for you, right? Right? Why do we have to play a full-blown operation on everything that happens? Why do we have to take out the scalpel and dissect things down to a molecule level? Why can't we just say that that happened and that's okay? Why can't we just say that I feel the way I feel and that's okay? Why can't we say that I had that thought and that's okay? Why does everything have to be dissected down into the last little bit? I'll tell you why you're under the habit of doing that. You're under the habit of doing that because you're afraid that if you don't, what might happen, right? But how far has the dissecting been getting you? How far has the investigation taken you? Have you learned anything? Probably not a whole lot, and it's definitely not worth the price that you're paying with the obsession, right? So why can't we get into the habit of saying, okay, it is what it is? Why can't we get into the habit of saying, you know what, not everything has to be picked apart down to the bone? Why can't we get into the habit of saying that for the rest of my life, I can pick everything, every feeling, every thought down to the freaking bone, right? But that's miserable. And you're going to spend the rest of your life doing that. Why do you want to do that? I hate to break it to you. Spoiler alert, your body and mind does not need you to heal. Oof, that sounded harsh. That sounded harsh. I hate to tell you this, though. The more that you obsess about the thoughts and feelings, the less favors you're doing for your body and mind. They do not need you to heal. In fact, they wish you would get out of the way so that they could heal, because you just throw gas on the fire, right? So that's why when we start to build the accepting attitude and just move on with things, instead of having to pick everything down to every last little bit, right? We start to give the body and mind a break. And that's what they need. They need a break, and they need you to stop. They need you to cut it out. So it sounds harsh when we tell people your body and mind does not need you to heal. But the reality of the situation is your body and mind does not need you to heal. It needs you to get out of the way. How do you get out of the way? By adopting and building the accepting attitude, right, and living your life. That's how you get out of the way, and you let these things heal. You leave them alone, right? So, you know, for a very long time now, you've been wanting to pick everything down to the bone. You've got a piece of chicken there, man. You're picking it down to the damn bone. You don't need to do that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. How far has that gotten you? If you've ever made any grand, great realizations and you've somehow zapped your nerves into healing by doing that, then I would say continue, right? But you're just making yourself miserable, right? So it's not that you're gaining anything from it. It's just you're in a bad habit of it. Sometimes they can feel a bit like they're racing. Sometimes they definitely can feel like they're looping. But you'll know that you're adding to them if you notice that you're up in your head, telling yourself negative things about them, right? And each time you notice that you're starting to get into the what ifs and trying to fight with them or argue with them, come back to the accepting attitude. You know what? That's okay that you just said that, right? That's okay that that's there, right? If you're working on that attitude, you're on the right track. If you're working on that attitude and then going back into living life, right? There's two keys for a reason. Then you're on the right track. All right, guys, we are approaching that 1 hour mark. I hope you enjoyed this little bonus stream today. Like I said, we didn't plan to be here, but huge shout out to Darcy for this, and huge shout out to all of you guys for watching. And thank you so much for all of your love, for all of your support. I hope you enjoyed this extra little stream today. It was fun getting to hang out with you guys. Again, thank you so much for everything. Make sure you leave a like. We're going to go ahead and roll on out of here, man. I love you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for everything. And until next time,